King Ahasuerus ruled an empire from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces under his command. To display his power, he threw a legendary celebration, 180 days of feasting and splendor in Shushan. Nobles, princes, and military leaders marveled at his wealth. When that ended, he opened his palace gardens for a 7-day feast for all the people, rich and poor alike. The palace dazzled with marble, gold, and precious stones. Wine flowed in golden goblets, each unique. The king decreed, "Drink as much or as little as you wish." Comfort was his command. Laughter and music filled the air. The kingdom seemed invincible. Meanwhile, Queen Vashti hosted a banquet for the women inside the palace. The city was alive with celebration. Men with the king, women with the queen. Everything was perfectly arranged, a picture of order and opulence. For a moment it seemed nothing could go wrong. The king was on his throne, the people rejoiced, and the empire was at peace. But beneath the surface, change was coming. The palace, heart of the empire, beat with joy, unaware of the storm ahead. The world was as it should be, or so it seemed. The king's rule appeared unshakable, but every celebration has its end. On the final day of the feast, King Ahasuerus, merry with wine, wanted to display his queen's beauty. He sent his 7 chamberlains to bring Queen Vashti before his guests, crowned in royal splendor. But Vashti refused. Her quiet defiance stunned the palace. No one disobeyed the king. The music stopped, laughter faded, and a hush fell over the crowd. The king's pride turned to fury. His authority had been challenged in public. Humiliated before his nobles, he demanded action. The feast's joy soured. The king's power now seemed fragile. Vashti's refusal was more than personal, it was a threat to royal order. The king's mind raced, something had to be done. His advisors gathered, sensing the gravity of the moment. The queen's defiance could not be ignored. The king's anger burned, and the fate of Vashti and the kingdom hung in the balance. The celebration was over, replaced by tension and uncertainty. The king's word had been questioned. The empire waited for his response. Vashti's choice would change everything. The king's next move would echo through history. The palace held its breath. The king's advisors, fearing chaos, urged a swift response. Memucan, a prince, warned that Vashti's defiance would inspire rebellion among women everywhere. He proposed a royal decree. Vashti would be banished, her crown given to another. The king agreed. Letters were sent to every province declaring every man ruler of his own house. Vashti vanished from the court, her name erased from royal memory. The palace grew quiet, the throne beside the king empty. Time passed, and the king's anger cooled. He remembered Vashti, and the decree that could not be undone. The kingdom needed a new queen. The search began. Beautiful young women were gathered from every province. The ultimate prize, a royal crown. The empire buzzed with anticipation. The king's loneliness became a matter of state. The stage was set for a new chapter. The search for a queen would change the fate of the kingdom. A new story was about to unfold. In Shushan, a young Jewish woman named Esther was raised by her cousin Mordecai. When the king's decree reached the city, Esther was taken to the palace with many others. She quickly won the favor of Hegai, the eunuch in charge of the harem. He gave her special treatment, the best place, and 7 maids. Esther kept her Jewish identity secret, as Mordecai advised. For a year the women prepared with oils and perfumes. When Esther's turn came, she asked for nothing extra, only what Hegai suggested. Her grace impressed everyone. Brought before the king, Esther captivated him. He placed the royal crown on her head, making her queen instead of Vashti. The king celebrated with a lavish feast in Esther's honor. Esther's rise was swift, but she remained wise and discreet. She continued to heed Mordecai's counsel, even as queen. Her secret and her humility set her apart. The kingdom rejoiced, unaware of the significance of their new queen. Esther's favor with the king would soon be tested. Her hidden identity would become her greatest strength. The fate of her people would rest on her shoulders. Esther's story was just beginning. The palace had a new queen, but danger was near. Esther, now queen, did not forget Mordecai, who watched over her from the king's gate. Their bond remained strong. She still followed his guidance and kept her heritage secret. One day Mordecai overheard 2 palace guards plotting to assassinate the king. He quickly sent word to Esther, who warned the king, crediting Mordecai. The plot was investigated, the conspirators executed, and the event recorded in the royal chronicles. Mordecai's loyalty saved the king, but his deed was soon forgotten. Esther's connection to Mordecai remained a hidden lifeline. The palace returned to its routines, unaware of the storm brewing. Mordecai's act of courage would have consequences. The king's life was spared, but new threats loomed. Esther's position grew more important. The fate of many would soon depend on her. The quiet loyalty between Esther and Mordecai would shape the future. In the shadows of the palace, danger gathered. The story was far from over. After these events, the king promoted Haman, making him the most powerful man in the kingdom after himself. All were commanded to bow before Haman, except Mordecai, who refused. Day after day Mordecai stood firm, his faith forbidding him to bow to an enemy of his people. Haman's pride turned to rage. Learning Mordecai was a Jew, Haman's anger grew into hatred for all Jews. He decided to destroy not just Mordecai, but every Jew in the empire. A personal insult became a plan for genocide. Haman's ambition and pride cast a dark shadow over the kingdom. The king's command was twisted into a weapon. Mordecai's courage set him apart, but it put his people in grave danger. Haman's plot was set in motion. The fate of an entire nation hung in the balance. The palace, once filled with celebration, now harbored deadly secrets. Mordecai's stand would require even greater courage. Esther's role would soon become critical. The kingdom teetered on the edge of disaster. Pride and hatred threatened to consume all. The darkest days were yet to come. Haman, seeking the perfect moment for his plan, cast lots to choose a day for destruction. The lot fell on the 12th month, Adar. Haman approached the king, painting the Jews as a threat to the empire. He offered a vast sum of silver to have them destroyed. The king, trusting Haman, gave him his signet ring, granting him absolute authority. A decree of death was sent to every province. The courage of Vashti, Esther, and Mordecai had shaped the kingdom, but now all faced annihilation. Fear spread as the news reached every corner of the empire. Only a miracle could save them now. The fate of the Jews rested in the hands of a hidden queen and her guardian. The kingdom braced for tragedy. The shadow of destruction loomed. Hope seemed lost, but the story was not yet finished.